Kanpai!
Welcome, one and all.
Just keep going.
Oh,
you always do that.
Well, it's because you take a drink, it's just silence.
Yes. So, welcome, one and all, to episode 141 of Kanpai Cast, where we get shit from our co-hosts all the time. Before we're going to get into the episode, which today is the banger first episodes, or shows that we watched because of the first episode, we're going to do a little bit of housekeeping. As usual, we will ask you all to like, comment, and subscribe. You know, the YouTube stuff. There's actually a bell somewhere hidden under the subscribe button these days to get your notifications. Always best to click that one. And if you do prefer listening to the podcast, we now have an audio version linked in the description, and you can add our RSS feed to your favorite podcasting app. But please don't forget to come here to the YouTube video and just click like. It really, really helps us out. Speaking of the podcast version of the cast, we fixed up the descriptions of the episodes. So now it's just a blurb about the episode, links to the website, and a link to the YouTube version of the episode itself. But one other news, did you know that we have a Discord that's also linked in the description below? I could never imagine. I bet you did, but I bet what you didn't know is that we have a dedicated feedback section where you can give us advice on how to improve things, which people are already using, and we're taking it very much to heart and have had long and deep, meaningful discussions about it. So
looking deeply into each other's eyes the entire time.
Mm-hmm. Getting distracted by the lushness of Xeno's beard. But before we get much further into that mire of things, let's get on with the episode, which is a suggestion from one of our lovely viewers, Effendor. We see you, we are watching you sleep, and you smell very nice. So this is a fantastic suggestion. It's shows that we watched because the first episode just grabbed us for whatever reason.
For better or worse.
I didn't realize this was a topic suggestion.
Yeah, Effendor brought it up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Oh, so, I should have put Heavenly Delusions on here. I'm an idiot. Oh well.
We have a whole load of suggestions that Xeno and Nasuth put together into the list, and a couple from the audience, and we have brought some of our own, depending on how we felt at the time. Of shows that we just really watched because of that first episode. Just really made an impact in some way. So, do you want to start us off?
So I think what I would like to talk about in the whole grand scheme of things is kind of what really makes a banger of a first episode. And I think we can slowly come to a conclusion on this by what we discuss. And one of the shows that I really kind of want to highlight as had an absolutely killer first episode was ReCreators. Now, if you know anything about me, I hate ReCreators. I hate it with an absolute passion. And this, I watched the whole thing. It was massive sunk cost fallacy. And I think this is why I'm so spiteful of the whole situation. So the whole premise of the show is effectively, if you go to Japan, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But if you go down Akihabara, they have advertisements up the wazoo for all the different products. Like, in the UK, you go down the high street of any city and you can see advertisements for various different products, mostly clothing lines, mostly food places, so on and so forth. In Akihabara, you'll see advertisements for things like Genshin Impact literally everywhere. Now, the creators behind ReCreators, feels like an oxymoron, turned around and said, well, what if we take that principle and turned it into a reverse isekai? So the premise is, we get characters like Von Fennell, who, granted in this one is gender swapped, but comes from his manga or his video game franchise into our world? What if we get a character from Mushoku Tensei and bring them to our world? What if we get a character from a magical, like Sailor Moon, and bring them to our world? And the novelty of the premise is really unique. It works so damn well as a concept. Like, seriously, the first episode,
so it's the Avengers. It's the anime Avengers.
I wish it was. I wish. But the great thing about this was the fact that they played to the rules of their worlds, right? So the mecha pilot could summon their mecha, or their magical mecha, right? The wizard could cast magic based on their systems, their rules, like they have to have like a incantation and things like that. The magical girl just has to have their wand and do a pretty pirouette, and but you get the idea, right? They play to the rules of their world that they have become familiar with in our world, and it all worked really seamlessly, and it was absolutely brilliant. And that really captivated me because it was just so novel.
But
well, unfortunately, the series fell off because they didn't know what to do with all these cool main characters, right? So in a lot of narratives, you have your characters designed in such a way that this is a side piece character, this is another side piece, or mouthpiece character. Like, they are there for nothing other than to fill the expectations of the main character, right? A brilliant character for this would be Ernesty from Knights and Magic. He's surrounded constantly by... Do we have Knights and Magic in the system?
I think
I don't know if we do, but it was brought up before. So unless you added it yourself, I don't think it would have been. But yeah,
I can't spot. But yeah, the whole point.
Regular series, there would be characters that serve a purpose towards the greater plot, dealing with the main character or dealing with each other. Specific, really, really well written ones actually do have their own goals and do their own things as well.
Yeah,
main character. But
so you'll have shitty side characters. You'll have shitty. Or you'll have romantic love interests. They all serve the purpose of accentuating the narrative for the main character. But when you have nothing but main characters, the studio had no idea how to handle them. Like, because this was an anime first, there was no manga, there was no light novels, there was nothing. That they didn't know what to do with all these main characters when all of them were the main character archetype.
Mm-hmm.
And as a result, it just massively fell flat.
So what they could have done was like a 7 samurai, because you have 7 main characters and give each of them some screen time and something different to do in a single story, but they didn't do that.
I can't speak to 7 Samurai. I've never watched.
Never watched it? Not even the Western version of it?
Not even the Western version of it.
Still. Okay. That was it's
they could have also gone the
a fairly classic story kind of archetype.
Fate route where, you're summoning these characters who are big names, but they still kind of take a backseat to whoever the main character is in the Fate series,
the summoner,
whichever
basically.
Fate series. Yeah, the summoner.
Yeah, no, I think that's a brilliant way of looking at it. Is let's just have all of these characters take a sideline. It's basically they need to turn a lot of the characters that are main characters into side characters, or maybe main characters of their own narratives, and pivot them off into different places. But because they don't, they just literally do nothing with these characters. Like, this is a waste.
Shame.
Yeah.
So
massive shame.
It's a great example of a show that you watched for that main episode, because it didn't live up to it.
Yeah.
But what about shows that really did? Nasuth, do you have a show that you watched for the first episode and you are so glad you did?
Oh man, I've got at least 3 that I'm looking at right now, and I can't decide which one to pick. Let's go for the best of them, clearly. And that would be Bang Bravern.
Fucking knew it.
I cannot say enough good things about Bang Bravern. It is one of my favorite shows in recent memory. That's not entirely true. I mean, again, all three of these would have been like, holy crap, how do I pick? But I do love the weirdness in Bang Bravern. It's so unique in that regard compared to a lot of the stuff I watch. And the first episode totally just like 100% pulls you in with this serious narrative of a world under attack. And then, yeah, sure, it's kind of like, okay, this could turn out to be another AMA Warrior at the Borderline, right? It could be good, but it might not be great just based on the opening. And then Bravern shows up, and the entire narrative gets like flipped on its head in such a way that it leaves you stunned, like completely. I was kind of speechless at the end of this. Like, what the hell is going on? Especially when he starts singing along to his own theme music. I mean, how do you watch that and go, well, I'm done with this. I'm not watching anymore. No. This is the kind of thing that just grabs your attention forcefully and says, you need to see more of this.
Yes. Even if you don't like it, I think Bang Bravern is one of those ones that you watch in fascination.
Yeah.
Even if you don't like it.
I kind of get what you're saying, but I'm not quite sure if for me Bang Bravern is one of the shows that captivated me within the first episode. Yeah, I wouldn't say that for me, but don't get me wrong, it is a good watch, but it is very heavy on the tokusatsu side of things. And like, I think, because if I can't remember, does he actually in the first episode, does he actually do any proper fighting, or does he just turn up and then it's the second episode where he does any fighting?
He like deflects the beam, that giant big ass beam, but I don't think he does actually. He might kill a couple of the robots, the fake, like not like Spurbia, not the named robots, but some of the fodder that barely ever shows up again after that.
Yeah. I think part of the problem for me is that that's very reminiscent of a lot of Gundam shows, where in a lot of Gundam shows, like the first episode, you do not see the Gundam or any of the Gundams in the first episode, right? The only two shows that or do anything in the first episode, like they'll turn up at the end of the episode and that's it, which is like, to me,
but
why
in this
Gundam
one he turned up and deflected like the massive beam that was going to. Sorry, we just talked about not interrupting each other as much, but he does do stuff in the first episode. He just doesn't really necessarily get into any big meaningful fights.
And that to me is like the but that's what I came here for. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I can see that.
So, but yes, it is one of those. I mean, not for 100% everybody, but yeah, I could see why that would grab your attention. You watched it all the way through because of it.
Yeah.
I
kept waiting for it to be like, okay, when does this just get bad? When does this get bad? Come on, it's got to get bad. And then it never did.
Right.
What about you, Thaylien? What do you have?
The one I brought to the table for my first one is not actually on the list. It's Fruits Basket. Now, this one to me is because it's a slice of life, okay, it's not going to grab everyone. But it absolutely 100% reached into my brain and just tricked that little switch. I said, oh yes, I must know more. Because in the first episode, we have the discovery that our main character is an orphan. She is living in a tent on somebody else's land, which you can do in Japanese culture because you have your laundry and your baths at a public location anyway, in most cases.
You can.
Yes, you can. And in the same thing, when she's actually found and invited to stay in an actual house, we discover that there are cursed magical people that transform into animals when embraced by members of the opposite sex. And how this all fits in together, I don't know. I had to know more. The amazing thing about Fruits Basket is simply how bizarre the setup is, contrasting with how gentle the anime is. Yeah, I mean, Fruits Basket is a very gentle show. It puts its humor gently. It puts its comedy really tamely in there, and the main character is just a ray of sunshine. It's, so how does this all fit in together with transforming magical people that are all hot?
I can't. The more we talk about this, the more I realize how much it is a complete matter of taste, and I'm realizing how much harder it is to is there a formula behind this, or is this 100% subjective? Because to me, again, Fruits Basket is one of the shows that is just it's okay. What were you going to say, Nasuth?
I have a couple of ideas on that. Okay, so here are some things they might share in common. Having not watched Fruits Basket, here are some things they might share in common. These shows that hook you they introduce you to the characters, even if they don't tell you everything about the characters right away. You get a very strong impression of what type of person these characters are. You get at least a basic hand on the world, even if, as in Bravern, things kind of get turned on their head by the end when you get this weird super robot. It's still basically a group of humans versus a group of aliens in a fight for survival, right? In what was the one you did?
ReCreators.
Oh, ReCreators. Yeah. Would you say, again, that one gives you a very strong feel of the characters you're dealing with in the first episode, as well as the world that they inhabit? Even if again, a lot of it's mystery, you still have at least a basic foothold, a basic grounding.
The answer is yes, but not for the reasons you're highlighting. I think what you're trying to highlight is that you are on a path of discovery just as much as the main character is. And I think that is a common element in all three shows. So in Bang Bravern, we had Itsumi, I think that's his name. He was discovering he was discovering the world, that was being fucked up by the aliens. He had a stable understanding of the world, and then that just got completely turned on its head. Toru, very, very similar. She had a fairly stable understanding, and then that got turned on its head with the Soma family, right?
But,
yeah.
It's more that the show is giving us, the viewer, this sense of what the world is. Yeah. But also grounding in what the world is already.
I like Thaylie's point on this, because it's giving us a solid audience window into the world, whether that's via the characters or whether that's via actual just general good, world building at the start. And then it's introducing something that is...
But it has to do it at a natural pace as well.
Yes, but it's also introducing something that we want to find out more about.
So the reason why ReCreators is so fundamentally different from the other two is that basically it is our world. We already know our world very well. The problem is that it's the isekai characters in that we don't know. That is what the discovery is. It's the exploration of who the hell are these people? Where the fuck are they coming from? Right? That's the discovery.
Yeah.
And we're seeing it from just random Joe blogs who happens to...
We have an audience insert character that's there to show us the irreality of the world, to give us an experience that gives us something to discover, something new to both us and the characters.
So,
and I love that kind of impression.
So another show that I think does this absolutely phenomenally well, and it's one of the first shows that I'd ever sort of like seen, especially on Western TV, was Tenchi Muyo, right? And granted, you don't have much of an understanding of Japanese culture with the whole shrines deep in the mountains. That's not really a big problem, especially in today's understanding of Japan. If it's your first,
you can think of Western analogs where you've got like a monastery or the little church on the hill or something, you know.
Yeah, so there are, as you put it, there are plenty of Western analogs, but the whole thing of this woman who turns up in the first episode that is defying all known laws of physics, nature, biology, chemistry, like, you know, she's effectively a god, you know, to our small pea-brained character Tenchi, and the way she is just playing with him, she's just having fun, she's just being giddy, she doesn't think she's causing any harm, and he is in a serious life or death situation. I thought this was brilliant. And the way that there was the whole... There were so many pivot points where, is this serious or is this funny? There are, you know, like, he's in a serious life or death situation and she's busy combing her hair, right? What you know, I love that. I love that about this potentially psychotic character. And
very Doctor
to me,
Who
that
in
was
some ways.
Well, why are you bringing that Western filth to our podcast?
Lol.
Be nice.
No, a genuine question though. Why are you bringing that up?
But it is. It's very. You've got this wacky character who almost even in old Doctor Who, like even like Tom Baker and stuff, who has a very nonchalant attitude in the face of what's often to the companions a life or death situation, you know, and he's just strolling along, having fun, being sarcastic sometimes, being quippy, you know, and so it is a very similar feel in that regard, and I think that's a good. I think that's a point in its favor.
But to me, I disagree, only because the Doctor is Ryoko, not Tenchi. You know, in the first episode, you have a very similar situation.
Tenchi is the companion. Ryoko is the Doctor.
Yes,
exactly. That's the whole point that Naz is getting at.
But the whole... I feel that after the first episode or pair of episodes, the first story of every season where the companion's introduced to the Doctor, right? It then becomes the show about the Doctor, not the companion. Right?
Maybe in the newer stuff, for sure. But older stuff, I disagree.
Right. But to me, like, you know, Tenchi is, you know, the main character, even though, like, he is not the zaniest of the troupe, right? He's not the one you're exploring. Like, you're just on the same journey as him.
Sure. Yes. But that's not a point against it in this respect. It's the dynamic. Just because we never switched to having one of the girls be the main character, even though they are the zany ones, doesn't
it's
mean
still that dynamic of like straight man
really
versus funny man.
Yeah,
and it's a really charming way to present the story, because we have an audience insert character that is ostensibly the normal person. But we know that he's actually not, because he's living in a situation where none of us actually can directly relate to it. Even if we have parallels in our culture, or we've, you know, seen something very similar before, we can't actually relate to Tenchi's life all that much.
On a minor tangent, if anyone can hear like loud traffic noises outside, that's my microphone, but it's too hot for me to close the window. I do apologize to anyone that's
but we did hear your phone ding.
Oh, that too. Sorry, I put it on. I swear, putting on Do Not Disturb is pointless. Because it's just like, oh, we need to remind you of this timer. No, you don't.
Also, I think it was an ambulance.
Earlier. Yeah, I apologize. Traffic. But, okay, so I've given my, I've given the one that completely left me feeling gutted. And I've given one on the same merit for... I think absolutely fantastic. Nasuth, on the same vein as Bang
I've done one that's fantastic. Do you want me to do one that's terrible?
Yeah. Or left you feel unsatisfied?
I mean, easily.
If we can.
We did pause just to add it. Heavenly Delusion. Man.
Yeah.
That one was so good at the start. Had me desperately wanting more. Was this Trigger? I can't remember. Who did this? Was it? No, it was Mappa, wasn't it?
I think it was... No, I thought this was production IG, wasn't it?
Was it IG?
Yeah. Hold on.
It doesn't
you keep talking. I'll look it up.
Okay.
It will, but you keep talking.
Yeah, so...
yeah, production IG.
Okay. Yeah, and from IG you expect nothing but good... Well... Mostly nothing but good things. And there was, everything was setting up in this perfectly. You had a world that was interesting, that they grounded you in very quickly. You had a deeper mystery. You had characters that had very clear motivations and personalities, but room for more depth in them than what we were initially seeing. All the pieces was there for a masterpiece. And for a long time, it did really well with those. And then it flubbed the endings so hard.
Yeah.
I was so upset by it to this day because, like I said, masterpiece. I love the episode with the priest where we find out, was he a priest? Doctor? Yeah.
I think it was doctor.
Yeah, the doctor with the wife who was, losing her body bits at a time to the disease.
Yeah.
And when we finally find out their backstory, man, that's so powerful. And if they kept that level of quality to the end.
So to go into a little bit more detail, the whole show is basically you have the two sides of the story, the past, which I think is the generation before, and the present. The past seems to be some form of utopia, and the present is just super fucked up. And trying to understand, I completely agree with Nasuth on this. I should have put this on the list as well. Heavenly Delusion.
I wouldn't say the past was a utopia, but it was technologically advanced beyond where we are now, and the current world is a post-apocalyptic nightmare. So yes, in that regard, it was. Yeah. You could say it was a utopia.
So you interrupted me for no reason.
Well, but I think that only I think it was a case of the rich had power, but the poor didn't necessarily. And we didn't see anything outside of this little world with the kids.
Yeah. So yeah, but I mean, for all intents and purposes, it doesn't matter. It doesn't,
Yeah.
Dribbling over pointless stuff.
Go ahead.
So, but the whole thing is that ending. We were enjoying it all the way up until the last scene, and they just fucked it, right? And who knows if we'll ever get a season 2? Nothing's been in the pipeline. Nothing's been confirmed. And it's just, I'm sorry, this, you were giving me the best dish money could buy, and then there was a little bit of poop at the end, and just ruined the whole thing.
It 100% felt like that first episode was was justified in pulling you in that quickly.
Yeah.
And then by the end, just the very, very end, it's so rare to get a really good sci-fi story these days. I swear. Mm-hmm. It's usually just this is just indistinguishable from magic now. And there was a bit of that in this, sure, but they really, really tried building it up as well. Anyway.
What about you, Thaylien? What's like, what's been a show that has had an absolute banger first episode?
There are 2 on this list that let me down specifically because of their follow-up seasons, but I don't think that's really fair. So my particular choice for this particular thing is actually Darling in the Franxx.
Okay.
Now, Darling in the Franxx, I thought when I first saw the first episode, I wanted to know more. I wanted to see how this world went. There was a great setup with these giant mecha versus these monsters, but also the children that you're following being innocents and having no real exposure to the outside world at all before they go into these giant robots, and they're being kept innocent. You want to know why, and you want to know why this new person they're introduced to is quite so dangerous and so powerful with what she does. And there is this, how should I put it? It was almost like in my brain a successor to Evangelion as a concept. You have these, you've got a big mecha anime against monsters, and you have your coming of age story that was going to build up. That's the impression I got from it. And it just did. It flubbed the ending so hard. And of course, it was a steady drop downhill. Because while there was some quality parts to it, the way they explored them ended up being very subpar on many cases. When it came onto these more interesting concepts, like the queen of the dinosaur type people that was supposed to be the ones that are actually fighting, the ones that they use the power of. They didn't use that in any kind of meaningful way compared to hyping up the main character some more. And of course, there's the end of the series where they just kind of tried to leave it all up to your imagination.
So, I kind of get where you're coming from, but I don't know. Like, to me, a show like Darling in the Franxx, as you put a very good comparison to Evangelion, it has that level.
I've actually heard it described as like the anti-Eva. So like Eva was all about depression, and this one was trying to be about overcoming things or something like that. I don't remember now the full context of the video.
I don't know, but like I think it's a very good comparison. Like there are very strong similarities between the pair of them, but regardless, I feel like the pretentiousness in Darling in the Franxx was hell of a lot more palpable than it was in Evangelion, and I could feel the whole, like, I'm going to enjoy this, but I don't think it's going to be the bee's knees. I don't think it's going to be.
This is based off the first episode, so yeah, in Kanpai Cast terms, with me, it wouldn't have passed the 6 episode mark. I would have been impressed with the first episode. The second, third, I would have been maybe, and I would have dropped it by 6. Would have dropped it by the mid-season review, because it would be taking up the time that I could spend on other shows. But from that first episode, the reason I watched it all the way through in my own time was because of that high bar of potential that the first episode set. It was a quick entry into the world. We had a fairly normal character as our main guy, watching all these things happening, and then there was a get in the robot Shinji moment where you get our deuteragonist, the secondary protagonist, literally leaning out, grabbing him, and pulling him into the robot, because she's basically done away with the guy that was originally trying to help her. And that kind of that does leave a really strong impression on you. You can see why she was considered a top tier waifu at the time, because that gap between how strong she appeared in that first episode, and then how, almost airhead like she was in the rest of it. And it just does, much like the character, it tries to grab you and pull you into this world, and it had the potential to be fantastic from that. The fact it let me down is no secret. It's fact it let quite a lot of people down, and yeah, that's as a single series, single season show, I felt that's more disappointing than the other shows we've got on the list that have great first season and then let me down the second or third. What do you think?
So, a part of me feels that, is this because the first episode is leaving you with an expectation, which is completely on the onus of the first episode, that the show basically can't fulfill? Because to me personally, I was like, I did not have this expectation of the show. I thought this is not Kill la Kill, right? This is not Gurren Lagann or anything like that. This is closer to Eva, and as a result, my expectations are well and truly tempered, right? Okay. Do you think that, because you said that if we would recording Kanpai Cast at the time, you would have given up by the 6th episode, right? And my assumption is that is solely because of the quantity of other shows that you would be watching at the time, right? Okay, cool. So yeah,
because it doesn't drop off to being absolutely terrible. This doesn't drop below what we would class as a nothing special by the end, and it still has the production quality to be a high nothing special. But that first episode to me started off at a very, very high acquired taste. It did, and as I say, it just steadily declined after that. I
can think of another one that did that too.
Capitalize on some of these things. Yeah. So, what do you think for the next lot, Xeno?
Well, I kind of want to give Nasuth the opportunity to throw in something, but I kind of also want to throw in something that the community has kind of had the similar reaction to. But Nasuth, what did you want to say?
Well, so mine is, I think you also picked this one. So it was the Masterful Cat, which that first episode is, obviously it's going to be a slice of life, but it's such an interesting twist on it that I thought it could actually be something really good. And then every episode after that, for me at least, kind of slid down this slope of, okay, we're entering mediocrity now. But that first episode was so eye-catching, so interesting, so funny, so relatable with the cat, with the way the cat behaved, that, it was enough to hook me for at least a little while.
You're not wrong. I think if I was to describe the way a series should exist, is similar to a roller coaster, right? You should have your big start, you got your middling bit, and then you got your big finish, right? I kind of feel that with the Masterful Cat is Depressed Again Today, which I think is the name of the show. It had a brilliant first episode, and I'd even say up to episode 6 was perfectly fine. But then it kind of just fizzled out. It didn't really have a climactic finish in any way, shape, or form. And it's just this is You know,
No hills and valleys, just valley.
Yeah, whereas something like Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, which I'm surprised I have not put on this list at all, but yeah, Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, we've got loads of ups and downs, and yes, we have lovely middling bits as well, but still loads of ups and downs. So it's a really well balanced roller coaster, and I think that is something that really best describes how a structure of any show should be. Yeah. The show that I kind of wanted to touch upon in terms of viewer expectation was actually Demon Slayer. So Demon Slayer, for everyone else's benefit, has had huge waves in the anime community and everything. And to me, it's always been this Shonen Jump action series, nothing more, nothing less. But for whatever reason, the community was expecting more of the series. They were expecting, I don't know, bigger, more triumphant fights. Like, I don't know if we're talking like Dragon Ball Z levels where they have to create an attack that's the size of a planet or what. But the community always was expecting this more grandiose fight or so. I don't know what, because after what's called the Entertainment District
they just want bigger stakes and not necessarily bigger attacks. I don't know.
I don't know.
Who knows?
I do not understand but as I was about to say, it seemed to be in the Entertainment District arc, which is like the latter part of season 2. Everyone in the community just turned around and started calling the series mid, right? And I have no understanding as to why, because the show has just been itself from the get-go. It's been really consistent, right? It has its ups, it has its downs. It's been pretty damn consistent. What more do they fucking want? I don't understand.
I want them to get rid of Zenitsu, that's all.
Oh, yes.
But I think it's important.
As a character that genuinely needs to actually start his character development. And he keeps acting as if he's going through it, and no, he hasn't begun.
But I do think it's important to have less likable, or even just like, oh my god, I hate this characters in a show, right? There are plenty of characters in Dragon Ball Z, like fucking Yamcha. Like, what the fuck even? Why do you still exist?
Still, I mean, as far as the character goes,
the butt of jokes, that's why he exists.
Yes, but okay, it's slight side tangent on this one then. Zenitsu, the reason why Zenitsu pissed me off as a character is because he's only a useful character when he has absolutely no self-agency. So he has to fall unconscious, basically, before his power gets, he can use his power. He can use his ability. And yes, there's the whole thing of, I don't fear the man who has practiced 1,000 moves once. I fear the man who's practiced one move 1,000 times, which I think was a Bruce Lee quote. He's in this case, if they gave him even one scene in that opening season where he used that ability consciously.
That's just Ultra Instinct, it's fine, don't worry about it.
Yeah, so, well, no, that's the thing. Ultra Instinct, at least, came at, like, the end of
his training, yeah.
Training, yes. So, it was, like, the next thing on. This one, I don't get how people think he's actually developing as a character when all of his character growth still results in him needing to completely nix his personality and his own self in order to actually use an ability. and that just defeats the purpose of any growth he's got because he doesn't use it.
And that's why Demon Slayer is mid. Thank you for coming to our TED.
That's my tangent. I'm gonna leave that for now.
Yeah, potentially. Maybe it is just down to the fact that people hate certain characters, and that's the reason why it's dragging it down for them. To me, it's like, Zenitsu's just Zenitsu, right?
Do the other characters actually develop more than that? Because I'll be honest, I haven't kept up on it since like season 1.
So, but the thing is, like, Inosuke and Zenitsu haven't been in the series since the Entertainment District, right? They were in none of the last season, and literally, we're, I don't know how many episodes, 4 episodes in of the Hashira training arc, and they've only just appeared, right? So,
I think if from what Zeno was saying, I liken it. There was a rather good short video, like a TikTok, but not on TikTok, of somebody being a doctor. So you say your friend has started watching Demon Slayer. Yeah, he has. And you say the symptoms appear to be that he's forgotten every other shonen anime he's watched and believes that all of this is something fresh and new. So, yeah, that's about it, really. And do you think it's the animation? It could be. Do you think it's the characters? No, the characters aren't really any better than any other shonen. So what do you think, in your opinion, would be the reason for him to have this?
It's the girl in the box.
And they do cut to the leg vein.
Oh my god.
The angry leg vein. And both of them just go, oh.
Anyway.
It is like almost watching this make people forget that other shonen anime existed. And so they were expecting more.
Yeah. It's like fucking... Oh yeah, because I've watched Demon Slayer. Death Note doesn't exist anymore. But I kind of want to tangent ever so slightly back to our stuff, back to our points of view and things. One controversial take, right? So, for me, a series that captivated me in the first episode that had a very controversial first episode was Goblin Slayer, right? So Goblin Slayer, the first episode, there was a lot of oh my god moments that and Goblin Slayer got a lot of hate on social. Yeah, Goblin Slayer got a lot of hate on social media.
Definitely done for the shock factor.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's meant to be a grimdark series. Right, it's meant to show a world where not everything is so bright and bubbly. Things won't work out as one would want. Yeah, that shock is
important. It actually furthers the story rather than just being for shock value's sake. And
I think Goblin Slayer is the sort of series. Unfortunately, they ruined the fucking second season. Dear God, I think Goblin Slayer is the sort of series that the villain characters will not pull their punches, much like Goblin Slayer himself. The villains. So, how often do we watch a Marvel movie or something where the villain is poised to claim victory? They're towering over the hero, and instead of actually just killing the hero, breaking their neck, stabbing them in the heart, you name it, they don't do anything. Instead, they just pick them up and throw them a little bit, and just so the hero can get back up.
Easily escapable chains over the sharks with freaking laser beams.
Dude,
I've got a gun. Why don't I just kill him?
Yeah.
There is that whole plot convenience of good versus evil in a lot of Western shows, which is. Oh, somebody said it really well. I think it was Terry Pratchett, the author, said, pray that the man who comes to kill you is an evil man. for an evil man, will gloat. He will leer. He will monologue. You can keep him talking. You can make him savor the moment and find your way out in the time that offers. A good man, once he's made up his mind to kill you, if he decides that you need to be killed, he will kill you the first opportunity he gets.
You say
and
that.
Will walk away with a clean conscience. No, I say that, but this is the opinion that Terry Pratchett points down.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see, as says, villains that will just take any opening. It's how some of the characters in the show have ended up with severe trauma, like the Sword Maiden. Okay, she has severe and long-lasting trauma because, as powerful as she is or was, the goblins, the weakest monster in the world, got her.
Yeah.
And it's because we saw the first episode that we know how traumatic that must have been.
Yeah.
Yes. So the controversial take I would take from this one is that even though they come in strong with a shock factor in the first episode, and even though it's a good setup for these moments where you meet characters with that kind of trauma, they don't do it again. None of the other things. There are moments where the threat is there. You get to points where goblins have swarmed into a room and they're literally tearing the clothes off the elf girl. But there isn't actually it seems the plot armor is strong, shall we say? That they still end up okay, all of them. Now, I would have thought that a show that was coming in that strong. Sorry. I would have thought that a show that's coming in that strong would introduce characters that build up for a couple of episodes, and then have something else happen to them that reinforces this. Not the main characters per se, but people that we think are going to become the main characters. See?
Yeah, because I was going to say in season 2, technically, they find that girl. As bad as season 2 is, at the beginning they find that woman who's been like nailed to a chair, and that's pretty brutal. But we don't know anything about her either. We don't. She's just some random person they're trying to save. If it had been the girl who was, training with them, who went down there, and something happened to her, that would be. I think that's more along the lines of what you're talking about.
Something like that. I wouldn't.
Or even the boy. Even if the stupid little mage boy, something had happened to him.
Possibly, but that's the only. That's my particular takeaway from that first episode. First season of Goblin Slayer, very strong. Despite that.
So, can you guys think, are there any shows that you particularly like that have a huge controversial take from the community, but you were sold with the first episode?
It's on our list. It's Shield Hero.
Oh, okay.
Shield Hero. Because the community absolutely kicked off about the false accusation.
Yeah.
And how it was handled. Because there are two very, very clear sides on this. The one is that, yes, you should believe victims. And the other is that false reports make it really hard to believe victims. And that false reports do happen in real life, and these kind of things do happen. And those two solid facts seem to hold this absolute dichotomous cannot ever reach a mid-ground opinion online. So on quite a lot of the social medias, mostly Twitter, but
that's just online discourse in general.
That's online discourse in general.
There are no shades of grey anymore.
Yeah, but in this first episode, it's all the people that said, see, there are evil women out there that do this. Then of course there was the other side that, could you stop pointing it out, because we actually need to start believing victims And this is a really crass take.
You're missing the contingent that also said, "See, this proves all women are this way."
Exactly. That's what I mean. There is a whole subsection of the verse that said that.
Sorry to railroad this, but like, okay, I get the negativity of the context here, but what about the show itself, guys?
Yeah.
No, okay. So you did admit it was the controversy is the key of this one, but I was sold on the show from the first episode, definitely. This simple
because it was willing to brave that sort of idea.
But is that you have a hero called in that cannot do the traditional go off and be a hero and level up like a video game in the same way, because he's the defensive hero. And as Zeno said in the past on his discussions about it, it's a show where the main character has to earn it. And the power he gets and the satisfaction he gets towards the end, the vindication he gets towards the end from other people actually finally taking his side, from other people finally supporting him and breaking through the walls that he put up from the first episode. It all feels deserved. You know? And a lesson to the other characters that try to go about things their way and the normal way with all of the thing and not care about him. And they don't get the same results. They are not as strong as he is because they're just treating it as a game. So,
but when it comes to just the first episode, again, it gives you a grounding in the world. It gives you that feeling of the main character being kind of on the back foot. Even before the stuff with Malty, it's clear that he is not welcome here. And is not going to be able to advance this, like you said, not going to be able to advance the same way the other player people did. And so, that first episode does a really good job of drawing you in, I would say, despite the controversy, or even because of it. If you're, looking for something that's willing to brave topics that might not normally be broached, and handle them pretty well, I think.
Do you remember the first part of when they first choose companions before the controversy? And it's so clear from the fact that everybody lines up behind the sword, the bow, and the spear.
Yeah.
And only one person, even if they have bad intentions, only one person lines up behind the shield hero. It's really good world building from the very off.
I think one of the most important parts of Shield Hero is the fact that, yes, we've had this pop into an isekai world. Yes, we've had this really nasty controversy. Yes, we've got the underlying hatred. But there is so much more to the world than what is introduced in the first episode. We see so many other isekai shows where you're introduced to everything within the first episode. There is nothing more to introduce. Like, so for example, there was one show. I'm going to try and quickly get it back, so I get it up on here. It's not in the list. It's called the Realist Hero Rebuilt the Kingdom, or How the Realist H.
Such a new thing.
But yeah,
it is such.
They introduce the idea that nobody likes the Shield Hero, but we don't know why.
So the importance of why how the Realist Hero Rebuilt the Kingdom is such like a middling series. When you start off, you're basically introduced to everything of the important aspects of the world within the first episode. You're not really introduced to anything else until I think it's late second season. And I do not recommend anyone to watch it. This is a bit spoilery. Naz, do you want to hit the spoiler button?
Sure.
Just it's in the ratings. Yeah,
everything looks slightly different now.
Cool.
We've had an update.
Right. So the spoilers for how a realist hero rebuilt the kingdom.
How to rebuild your realist kingdom.
Yeah, so the spoiler is basically, it turns out the Queen has the ability to see the future, right? And at one point in time, they summoned the hero, and the aristocracy basically convinced the king not to listen to the hero at all. And as a result, the kingdom fell, right? So the Queen basically turned to the king and tells, you know, her lineage is able to do this, and she basically tells the king, like, you know, if you give the kingdom to the hero, he will rebuild it, right? And thus why you get such a weird abrupt start to the series. It's really well thought out, but you don't get the tease until the majority of the way through season 2, right? Can we turn off the spoilers, please? And this is why it's fundamentally important that, you know, why Shield Hero did it so well was because, yes, you had the shock and awe at the very start, but they were constantly drip feeding you stuff throughout the entirety of the season. Even
oh,
the
by the way, demi-humans exist. Oh, by the way, Philolials exist. Oh, by the way, here's how the waves work.
Yeah. There were also previous heroes, right? That revelation is massive in most isekai. You know?
Yes. Yeah.
And
there's a way to go home.
Yeah, there's a way to go home, and there's other sub-heroes that are not the cardinal heroes.
So
it certainly does allow more world building than, you know, Hero Kingdom, how to realistically rebuild.
Okay. But Nasuth, what about you? Controversial show that hooked you by the first episode. I know you have one in this list. I don't think you realized it was a controversial first episode. Yeah, Skeleton Knight.
Is it Skeleton Knight?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do Skeleton Knight. Oh, where is...
I'm right.
There it is.
Yeah.
I didn't know this one was controversial, though.
Yes.
Why?
So,
what made this one controversial?
The same, very, very similar reasons to Rising of the Shield
Hero. Is it because of the elves? But we didn't see that in the first episode, did we?
No. It wasn't the elves. So basically, the controversial take, and then you can talk about...
Or goblins or whatever they were.
No.
Attacking the villagers.
Shut up.
No?
Stop talking.
No. Okay.
No. You know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Right. So in the first episode, I think the princes are out to try and kill the princess. And they basically send bandits to capture the princess and kill her off and everything, but they decide that they're gonna have some fun when it's the first episode.
Oh, wow.
They're gonna have some fun with the princess, and Skeleton Knight turns up and basically slices the offender in half.
Yes, but not before questioning whether he should get involved.
Yeah. So so basically, the allegations of illegal no time is what really upset the site formerly known as Twitter. So yeah, that's the controversial take. But regardless of that, why did you put this on this list, Nasuth?
Well, again, it's another case of, well, you've got this overpowered main character who essentially gets pulled into a video game world, even though it's a real world. And, you know, it seems like it should just be average, boring, meh. But his attitude upon being isekai'd is so different from what I'm used to seeing from other characters that it really drew me in. The way he, like, I mean, look at this scene right here. I know this is technically from the opening, but this sums up his whole attitude towards the world. He's just there to have a good time and laugh and go on an adventure, and
delicious food.
eat delicious food, smoke cigars, drink alcohol, find pretty ladies. Sure, why not? But he wants to help the pretty ladies.
Discover elves.
You know.
He discovered elves. He discovered animal-eared people. He discovered magic exists. He was so happy.
Yeah.
After the life he had before.
I think he even pays a little lip service to his like, is there a way to get back? But like, pretty quickly just dismisses it and is like, why would I want to do that? This place is so cool.
Exactly.
And I'm just, so many isekai even skip over that little point of the main character not thinking about their former life or not worrying about going home. They just fully embrace it. And even to just pay a little lip service to it is pretty cool. It was mainly his attitude, I think, that drew me in. The world building was pretty minimal in the first episode, I'll admit. I'd say the character building is minimal, but we did get a pretty good sense of who he is and what he wants. So, yeah. Skeleton Knight was just hilarious.
Okay. So I think at this point in time, before we wind up, or wind down, I don't know, come to a conclusion, I think it'd be nice for us to pick on each other. Like, why did you add this to the list? Thaylien, okay. I'm gonna hate you because you didn't add anything to the list.
But I'm gonna pick on you in another way by something I didn't add to the list, but I want to include.
What were you going to add to the list?
I was going to add K.
Oh, fuck you so much. You in this goddamn series. It is fucking... Oh, my God. I can't believe I watched the whole
for the audience, thing. A K project. Xeno and I don't see eye to eye because he sees one of the events as a giant plot hole. And despite me easily explaining it, he doesn't get it. So he doesn't like it. He doesn't like the explanation and thinks it's still a plot hole regardless. We're not going to get into that. Okay, so this is a show that's controversial because of Xeno's reaction to it every time. But I really like this show. Okay, it is it's a modern day fantasy where we have a really strong first impression of the world they live in. Okay? Can
I correct you? I wouldn't say this is a I want to touch on the modern day fantasy.
Yeah.
No, it's modern day, but there's just superpowers for set individuals.
So we'll say fantasy. So,
well, I mean, fantasy kind of implies different races and a hell of a lot of magic and things like that.
So Harry Potter is now not a fantasy because I guess it does have different races, doesn't it? But
so does this one.
Yes,
it has magically occurring catgirls and it has magic for everyone that's affected by the stone. Anyway, the first impression of the show we get is oddly offset. So we have the initial thing of a dark and spooky scene on the rooftop that then cuts to a very ordinary seeming guy that everybody seems to like.
Okay, they have a Sparrow. This must be a great anime.
We also think that there's something going on because people aren't quite acting right. You know, he's going around, he's saying hello to people, but when it comes to going in and out the place that he's currently in, he takes a back door. Okay, and there's this strange girl that seems to be flitting around in the background, and so it primes us for the idea that this is not an actual it's not some kind of 50 years in the future kind of show. There's something more. And then when he's attacked by a guy wielding what it appears to be a large sword and magic, there is it's good action, it's good audience entry into this where we have the different things going on, and it leaves me wanting to find out more about this world. That's the important bit. It made me want to watch the rest, specifically because of both how stylistic it is with the animation, how good the action seemed to be, and the fact they just lay it in these little mysteries to find out more about later.
So, regardless of my opinion on this series,
thank you,
because the end of the series really taints it for me, right?
Oh, okay.
I do kind of get where you're coming from with regards to the first episode. The problem is, like, because I'm so anti K that I don't want to remember any of it whatsoever. I do remember enjoying the first episode hell of a lot.
Yeah.
I do feel that it kind of not goes off the rails, but the peaks and troughs aren't as large as I would want them to be for the rest of the series. Okay. I think a large part of that is I don't particularly like high school based shows. I think there are far too many of them. I know people are hating a lot on isekai to this day, but trust me, the high school period was nauseating because all the high schools were effectively the same. They all had the same rules. They all had the same functionalities. The council, so the student councils always had shit tons more authority than they would do in real life. It's a lot of stuff like that, and fair enough, but
see, it must absolutely mystify our viewers at home as to why you like high school DxD quite so much.
There's barely any high school in it.
I know. Still, it's it takes something that has a high school setting and then makes sure it removes as much of the high school as possible before it becomes an enjoyable show for Xeno.
I mean, it's
in the same for me in most cases.
I mean, it's very similar to that with Bleach, right? The first, oh god, how many episodes? I want to say
3 or 4.
No, God, no, it's much longer than that. It's like
you're talking about the first season, yeah. So
yeah, so it's like the first 20 episodes before they do anything with Soul Society. There's a lot of school stuff, and then when it kind of went, screw the school stuff, I was like, yeah, so
fair point.
Anyway, there you go. What you wanna pick on? Who wants to pick on whom for this
Data
list?
Live. What made you decide this middling piece of trash was super awesome, but from the end of the first episode?
So I really enjoy. I'm going to let you pick on it. It's fine. I know you don't like it. But I really enjoy Data Life because of a lot of the mystery that it inputs into it, a lot of tongue-in-cheek that it puts into it. I like the idea of the world being suffering spatial quakes and things like this. You know me, I'm a huge sucker for harem anything, right? Yeah. It has to be good harem. In the last few years we've had plenty of bad harem, but again, I just it's also Toka, like so she's the first spirit character that we're introduced. She's in essence kind of like a magical girl. She basically just spawns out of nothing. She has this gigantic effing sword. She's fighting humans with jetpacks. She's just trying to hide, and she's just trying to she's trying to not exist as a spirit. It was quite clearly a lot of mystery to this world setting, and I really enjoy it. I'm 5 seasons in, and I'm still enjoying the show.
I will say the first episode was actually pretty good. It was just I think it was by the third episode that I gave up on it or something. I don't remember.
I think also I like heavily the whole tongue-in-cheek of the dating sim games. right? There is a lot of bullshittery humor when it comes to Data Live, and I'm down for that. Go on, Thaylien, pick on
somebody.
I'm wondering who put Deadman Wonderland in here.
I did.
That was also the Xeno.
So, okay, Deadman Wonderland was absolutely fantastic. The problem is it just didn't get an end, right?
No.
So I rewatched it relatively recently. As no one's going to hit the button, I'm going to hit the button. And yeah, so it's an absolutely brilliant series where our main protagonist has fallen victim to a crime he did not commit, and in a relatively controversial way. He's been framed for murder, and he is sentenced to a prison that is also an amusement park. And it turns out that he is not the only one of his kind. There is this mysterious girl that is constantly floating around him. He's pursued by an individual that, basically committed the murders. There's so much behind this series, and I absolutely love it. Loz absolutely loves it as well, but it just fizzled out because I don't know if they were planning on getting a second season. They just never did.
I just feel that I wasn't grabbed by the first episode. I treated this with the 3-episode rule when I first watched it.
Fair?
I wanted to see how it would go, because it seemed to me like just another, shock and awe thing with the first episode. How much can we take from the main character before we build them up again? And that to me has been done quite a few times. So I wasn't, certainly at the time, I wasn't as shocked by it as other people might be coming to it fresh. Without the same kind of anime binge I'd been on for years. But this, it didn't grab me from the first episode at all. The first episode was okay. I was willing to give it a chance, and it's only by watching the follow-ups of the second and third episodes that I thought, oh yeah, no, I want to go where this show's going. And I just regret they didn't actually go anywhere in the end.
Yeah. I'm gonna pick on Nasuth for a hot second.
Okay.
Summertime rendering?
Really? The first episode of that one didn't pull you in?
No, not in the slightest. Like, honestly, it wasn't until, like, I had watched the first episode, I just didn't like it. It wasn't until you said to me, you should rewatch it, that I actually put the time into watching it. I really didn't like it, the first episode.
Oh, man. See, the first episode of this just grabbed me. Like, the way it starts off so normally, but you can already see some mystery elements coming, creeping into it. Like, oh, this girl died, but there may be something weird about her death. The police guy wants him to talk to him later. And then you get to the ending where everything goes off the rails, and the duplicate shows up. The first duplicate shows up. And the way that leaves you on a cliffhanger, it was, like, what is going on? What is this mystery? What is this insanity that's happening now? Sucked me right in, and it kept that level of suspense and mystery pretty much until the final arc.
You know what? You actually talking about this has actually made me realize something. I am really anti-cliffhanger. Because that was the thing with... Yeah, that was the thing with Bang Bravern. That's the thing with Summertime Rendering. I have become so anti-cliffhanger that will, that will be the 3-episode rule, right? So if it's got a cliffhanger, it needs to be a 3-episode rule.
I think it depends on the cliffhanger. Because some of them you can see, well, this is clearly just set up to be solved within the first 5 minutes of the next episode. And those kind of cliffhangers I hate. but when it feels like it's opening up to something bigger, and this is just like you've now experienced the prologue essentially. This is the end of the prologue.
Mm-hmm.
But that to me
that works for me better.
That to me warrants the fact that I just don't want to give it the time of day, right? It's just like, you know, I think I'm fine with escalation, right? But when it's like, you know, someone standing over someone with a knife and like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? Woo!
Yeah, but this didn't end that way because he actually got killed.
No, I was being completely hyperbolic with
fair
my
enough. Fair enough. Anyway,
thing.
Thing is, this is why I think that the 3-episode rule works best in most cases, because the cliffhanger on the first episode I don't take as a cliffhanger. I take it as a 2-part intro.
That's a fair way to think about it.
I think that's the reason we do 3 episodes is because of so many cases of 2-part special intros. Because it's only in the 3rd episode that things actually settle down and start to show us what the rest of the show is going to be like. Because there are so many of those episode 1 cliffhangers that you don't have to. Oh damn it! How my train of thought went. The way it's presented in so many cases is that to have a 2-part special intro can actually get you more attention in a potential fan base. You know, so you can do a 2-parter to set up a quick little problem to solve or introduce a character with a hero moment like Bang Bravern, and then show what happens after in the 2nd episode.
Well, you used to have that all the time on TV, where a show would have like its premiere would be 2 episodes, and then those episodes would be split up later in syndication or whatever.
Exactly, they would. So because of the propensity of that happening, I never think of a cliffhanger on the first episode being an actual cliffhanger. So I can see Xeno's side of this, but I think that's that sometimes even if it does a cliffhanger, I wouldn't have to apply the 3-episode rule.
See, it's really interesting you're saying this because, in case you aren't aware, you know, we have praised this. Also, I hated, but we praised. Sorry, for everyone else that doesn't know, I'm pointing out the fact that the main protagonist wakes up face planting the passenger in front of him's boobs. Right, that's you know, for anyone that,
G-cup boobs,
full on, but nose into cleavage.
Anyway, but we actually praised the hell out of Rising of the Shield Hero. That has a 40-minute first episode, right? And I think that's where it does it right. You know, it's like if you need that extra time, just have an extra long episode. But if
they split that episode in half for syndication, and you know, how would you feel at the end of the first 20 minutes?
Fucked off.
Pretty much the same, yeah.
No, I wouldn't be okay with it because it's just like, yeah, like, you know, I don't like that sort of stuff. I mean, if I can binge watch the whole thing, then
of course it doesn't matter.
It kind of doesn't matter, but like, you know, when you've got it on a weekly basis, it's just like,
Right.
Is there any others that we want?
I would suggest rounding this up by picking out the ones that we can all agree on, and we think that the viewers would all agree on. So things like Mushoku Tensei,
Kingdom of Ruin.
You want to pick on?
I think Xeno and I can agree on Kingdom of Ruin, that it had a really interesting first episode.
Yeah, a fucking brilliant episode.
And then just nosedived.
Yeah, but they just fucked it so hard.
That was another case of where they tried to take everything away from the main character before they could build him back up. So that would have hit Thaylien's pressure point.
Yeah, a little bit. But Pluto.
Oh, Pluto was so
series.
good. But that was another one where they had an hour to make their first episode. You know, to make the world filled up and everything. But yeah, that was amazing. Yeah, 100%.
We can agree on Tenchi Muyo, but what was the other one that I thought that at least Zeno and I could definitely agree on, which is No Game No Life.
Yeah.
For lack of a second season, which we are still despairing over, solid show.
Yeah,
and
solid first episode.
Right in with that first episode that brings you in and introduces the characters and then throws them into a fantasy world. It's really well done.
Yeah. No, I will always love No Game No Life. I think more people need to see it.
Witch from Mercury and Lycoris Recoil are both on here, and I'm not sure I agree with them dragging you in from the first episode.
Okay, right. I can no doubt defend Witch from Mercury, right? Because in the first episode, you get to see the Gundam do something, right?
Wait, are we talking about the actual...
many
or the prequel? The prequel episode?
No, I'm talking about the actual first episode.
Okay.
Yeah, right. You actually get to see Ariel do shit, right? Which, in a lot of Gundam shows, you don't see the Gundam do anything in the first episode, and you're just like, there is no point in watching the first episode until the second episode is out, right?
But try and take it in a vacuum without other Gundams. Just on its own merits.
I still think it's brilliant.
Okay.
Like, I think most Gundams shows are brilliant in and of itself, right? But out of all, even if I had to put it in a vacuum with like mecha stuff in general, like I would say the first episode of Witch from Mercury over things like Pat Labor. I wouldn't say Knights of Magic. If we had Knights of Magic in the system, I would have put that in here. I checked, we don't, right? But there's like a lot of mecha shows that is just like, you know, even Darling in the Franxx, I just wouldn't have put in here. You know?
I don't know. It just felt like it was just like, oh, here's school in space with giant robots. Oh, okay.
I'll give you that, but they didn't spend a whole lot of time schooling, right? It was more bullshit mecha battles that are just like, what the fuck is going on? For that first episode, right? They barely did any school stuff. That wasn't the first episode.
Yeah, but I mean, in a military school, that's what you'd expect.
Yeah. Anyway, and you said another one. What other one?
Lycoris Recoil.
Well, that's it.
I don't know. Chisato's just like, she's just so adorable. She's just so funny. Like, Lycoris Recoil. Yeah, I was hooked on the first episode. I really was.
Simple man. He has simple pleasure.
Yeah, I want to see Leon as a high school girl that can shoot good and dodge good.
Still. And then for the last one on the list that needs mentioning, for good or for ill, is Ava.
Oh, yeah. I know, obviously, the ending, sure.
Yeah,
but that first episode, man.
Which one?
Yes.
The original Ava.
The original.
No. Which ending?
No, well, any of them.
All of them.
But the first episode was incredible. Like, man, finding out there's this devastating world-ending problem, and there's a city underneath Tokyo, and the way that the Ava like rockets up to the surface, you know, all of that is incredible.
I'll give you all of that. I will say, in retrospect, there is plenty that I don't understand Shinji's confusion, but you know, because he seemed to know a little too. Know a little.
Not know as much as they should. Yeah,
effectively, like
the man who knew too little.
Yeah, like how the fuck does he not know about the angels? Right? He seemed to know nothing about the angels whatsoever. What the fuck?
Screenshots.
This was censored in the. I think that's why I included it, because we were doing the censorship episode, and this was censored in the Adult Swim version.
Anyway, but
Toonami version, one of the two.
the Evangelion was on Toonami.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It was briefly. Yes.
Heavily censored.
Holy shit! Wow!
Yes.
Yep.
Wow, America!
Yep.
Wow! I thought you got it wrong with bloody Dragon Ball and Bleach, and like, wow, Evangelion, really?
Yeah.
Warner Brothers, really? Anyway, sorry. Yeah, I just feel like Shinji just knew a little too, so he didn't know enough, and it was like, how do you not know that the whole city can lower? How do you not know that, like, there's got to be procedures in place that, you know, for emergencies that
he'd been living kind of sheltered somewhere else,
Mm-hmm. So,
and so didn't know all this.
I was going to say,
because it was his first time in the
he
city.
has been avoiding everything his dad did.
But even so, right?
We don't know that at the time, though. So, yeah.
To use the comparison of Data Life, so Data Life had the space quakes, which were like these giant, you know, spatial anomalies and everything. They had huge bunkers. The people knew about the bunkers, right? The people knew that the buildings could shift and things like that. They knew nothing of the spirits. They knew nothing of the war that was going on around them, right?
Yeah.
That I understand. Not knowing about the angels, I understand. Not knowing about the underground bunker shit, I don't understand.
No, I think he did, though. I think because while he was waiting for Misato, he said something about going to a bunker or a safety bunker.
Did he? I don't remember.
They're treated a lot in this. They're treated a lot like earthquake shelters.
Yeah. Okay, fine. I thought he didn't know anything
I don't
about
know.
it. He's just like,
I need to go rewatch it to be sure. But I think that's true.
No, you don't. Anyway. Anything else you want to touch upon?
I think we've covered this.
Cool. Anyone that wants to leave me their opinion of K Project, I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, please let us know all of your thoughts on these
Thoughts
that we've.
Yeah, you know what shows did you think had an absolute banger of the first episode? What do you think? Actually, yeah, let's talk about conclusion. I think realistically, a brilliant first episode is a fish out of water. All right. You are exploring the world with said fish, and what's
okay?
I think the magnitude
the
of
fish doesn't need to necessarily be the main character, but there does need to be a fish out of water, even if it's a side character that's know like a companion to the main character.
An audience.
No, I really feel that
because Vash knows exactly what's going on. It's Millie and Meryl that were really kind of looking at the world through.
Yes.
No, we're looking at the world mostly through.
But no, either way, there has to be.
Not at the start.
There has to be that element of audience access to the world, discovering the world in that first episode, and there has to be the hook for that fish.
Yeah,
something that drags the audience access into the world with the audience to follow.
Yeah, I also feel that we need to kick the first episode off to 11, right? Everything we have highlighted, like none of it is low intensity first episode. Everything is bloody high intensity, right? You know, there are so many shows with middling first episodes, and
even the gentle ones like Fruits Basket, which I love. It's an incredibly gentle series. It goes really nicely low paced for most of it, but the weirdness is at 11.
Yeah, I think it needs because
has its characters kind of turned up to 11 in the first episode.
Yeah. Any other points that we want to highlight for a brilliant first episode?
As important as they are, we don't need a superb first episode to make a good anime.
Of course.
We on Kanpai Cast do the 3-episode rule, specifically because a show can actually get better over time, even if it has an average first episode.
No, I want to correct you on that one. There's rusted armor. Oh.
Okay, but you don't have. Not every anime that has a bad first episode is rusted armor.
No, I'm saying that we don't have to watch 3 episodes to know something's garbage.
Yeah.
Right? We
Just
tried
like
to give
did.
everything 3 episodes.
I did, and it still sucked all the way through.
Yeah. So just as we have these banger first episodes that draw us in, we do have the absolute 0-star poop first episodes.
Yeah. So we do try to base everything on the first 3 episodes, but sometimes that can't work out because it is
Doesn't always
just
work.
so goddamn bad. Right. So bad. Right. Okay. So let's move on to the supporter questions, which I have in front of me. So first off, Zrugel asks, before we start the supporter questions, I just want to thank you everyone for listening to the podcast so far. We really appreciate all the likes and comments everyone leaves on these episodes. Feeding the YouTube algorithm ain't cheap. Ain't that the fucking truth? Right. Zrugel asks, did you try watching The Galaxy Next Door? If so, what do you think? I need to fucking...
No, not yet.
No, I didn't.
That and what's the other one that they wanted us to watch? Your Lie in April, I think.
Hold on.
Your
No,
name.
I wanted to watch... hold on. Let me... I think... Problem is, like, as soon as we record... I can't find it. Where can I find it? Well, shit. I have to find out what the Japanese name is. Right, should we move on to the next question?
Yeah, because I'm not going to be able to find out
sadly,
what I was talking about.
We haven't had the time yet, is the answer to the question.
Yeah.
This week has been
That's what it always comes down
super... What the fuck? Right, next question is from Senshi Would Crush the Birdemic.
Yeah. Zeno's never seen Birdemic. He doesn't know anything about it.
No, I am well aware. I am
doesn't know
well
anything
aware.
about
I have seen Corridor Crew's take on Birdemic. I have seen their fixing of Birdemic. Anyway.
You can't fix that movie. Anyway.
They did. The Robot Rocket Fist is a long and proud tradition in anime. But what body part would you launch at the enemy if you could a knee to the face?
Rocket knee.
Yeah. Yeah. No, not rocket knee. Spring-loaded pneumatic knee.
Okay. I would do the first 2 fingers of each hand, so I could do long distant 1,000 years of pain.
Oh god.
I'm pretty sure that's just Undead Unluck's power. One of his powers. Finger bullets.
Yes.
Well, I'm gonna bring it down and say I would launch my butt at people. Just butt to the face.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I could have said something else.
That's
but,
Keijo.
you know.
That's Keijo. Don't lie to me. That's Keijo.
No, but clearly it has to be detachable. Well, mine is at least. So Keijo, but with detachable butts.
They just fling it really fast. Anyway, right. Next question. There is no next question
Nope, there
because
is no next
user
question.
just says text. Wow.
Damn user.
Goddamn user. Yeah. Okay, so moving on to the comments
in response to user, I say lorem ipsum.
Right, so moving on to the comments from the cast. So, the comments from last week, first of all, starting with the news. Strombus Shell says, end of Gynax? Oh no. To be fair, I don't know who they are. Evangelion. The end.
You heathen.
It's just Evangelion. It's fine.
Basically, yeah.
Right. I'm surprised they're making more Beyblade. Seems silly to me, but I guess it's popular enough. I heard somewhere the toy line is somewhat popular in Japan. Wouldn't know.
And
Somewhat.
in some place in America.
I'm surprised it
I guess you
outlasted
just have to let
Pogs.
it rip and see how it goes.
Oh,
Right.
Thaylien.
What did he say? I ignored him. I tuned him out. What did he say?
Just have to let it rip and see how it goes.
Right.
Oh no, my microphone screwed up and Xeno didn't hear that.
No, I did. Zrugel says, wow, Eiko Masuyama had been around for so long and did some great works as well. Rest in peace.
Indeed.
The voice actor who makes his own imprint is a good idea, but I hope that people don't have to go that far to protect their rights of their own voice. Sometime in the future. To be fair, though, look at how many actors that like basically sell their likeness so that, you know, toys can be made of them and things like this, and you know, they don't get any of that. They don't get any royalties from the toy lines and shit like that because they've sold their likeness to the studio. It's the same with the voices, you know. That's the kaiju for Ultraman. The Ultraman movie. Is it supposed to be cute? Okay, it's pretty meh. I agree.
That's not the kaiju. That is a kaiju that he's working with. So it's like you know how in
we'll
the other Ultraman,
let's move
he's
on.
working with an alien.
Had to rewind for Sweepy Xeno is Sweepy caption.
Sleepy.
Sweepy
Xeno.
He's eepy.
Yeah.
I can't remember what happened.
It was at
the very end of the news, and you were like falling off, and so I put a tiny little caption there.
It had a really fucking long day, didn't it?
Yeah, you did.
Right. I wasn't even fucking working. Right, so let's go on to the comments from the cast. Stromba Shell says, I don't think you can judge me for my anime list because I didn't submit any. It's okay, though. I low-key judge you guys for rating, for the ratings you dish out.
Well, you should start
That's a pretty big list.
Judging us. Don't keep it low-key. Keep it high-key.
Anyway, which basically means just tell us your opinions and everything. That's a pretty big list. I can safely say I haven't seen most of these. I'm impressed how often you guys remember the story of so many things you haven't seen in years.
It's honestly I had Doro on the list for today, and I honestly, thinking about it in the show, couldn't remember anything about the first episode. So, you know, hit or miss.
We play a big game. We you know, it's poker face. I respect the I can't agree category. Preferences are always going to be subjective. Glad you accounted for that. Yeah, we were thinking of making it like really clear grading and everything, and then we're just like, nah, fuck it. S to F. Don't agree. There we go.
Yeah.
I usually say I like the memes, and I want you to know I'm not just saying that. I love the memes this week. I can't remember the memes this week. The memes are all in the description, so if you know.
Go check out last week's memes.
Maybe I'll make a catalog or something at some point. I don't know. It's effort. You guys are... Sorry.
Zrugel now.
Zrugel. Sorry, Zrugel. Yes, yeah. Zrugel says, you guys are rating them by letters and not the standard Kanpai rating system. Okay, I guess that's fine. After last time you had a rating episode 68, you said it was a good idea, but then it's okay.
I don't remember
Unsatisfied sigh. Joking.
I'm sorry, Zrugel.
It was a tier list, not a rating. That's the difference.
Yes, a tier list.
True.
I'm slightly triggered. Nasuth is just picking at random shows from the list. Lol. Just start from one end. Gar.
I was told to do it that way.
The concern was that we wouldn't get to the end, and that would be unfair to any of the shows that were stacked at the end. That's why I said just pick randomly. Because I mean. Coincidentally, we managed to get to the end of the list.
But one that snuck in there we hadn't actually watched.
And one that we forgot to include. So, which would have been F anyway. So the last thing from Zrugel is, there are a lot of anime here I don't know, and almost no anime I recommended made it to the list. Which is okay, we have just different tastes.
So... Oh, sorry, you go.
So the take on this is we had 172 shows that were recommended, 2 of which we didn't add because they were currently ongoing. 1 of which was just flat out banned from the list. And 50 that none of us had seen. Right?
So yeah, we are really sorry. We can't rate things that we haven't seen at all, that none of us have seen. So many of the shows got on this, only one of us had actually watched. So we do apologise.
And despite having
the same shows that you have, Zoogle.
Despite having a relatively wide spread of tastes between the 3 of us, we just haven't seen everything. I mean, I don't think anyone can see everything.
We had also added 26 shows to the system over, was it like a couple of days?
Yeah.
And dear God, like adding another 50 would have been killer. Oh, yeah. All right. So, but that is it for the comments. It's now time to move on.
Everyone's favorite
to
part.
The memes. The memes.
All memes we collect from, mostly we collect from Reddit. We've also got viewer memes that you can, if you come to our Discord, you can submit viewer memes, and Virgil is very kind enough to curate them for us so we don't see them before we actually react to them live on the show for you guys. And I think that's everything. Yeah, up to 6 memes.
Yeah.
Archive is in the description below. It's archived on our website so that you can see them even if you delete them.
Yes, very important. And we've got 4 of your memes this week, so let's get right into it. Where did my deck board go? There it is. Wait. Where did my deck board go?
Childish and for nerds.
Seriously, I can't access it now. There it is. Oh my gosh, that's so weird. Deck board just got updated and it's very weird. So right, yes. When somebody says anime is childish and for nerds, definitely. Yeah, okay. That's cute.
Yep.
It's cute. Oh, it's gonna do this with every meme, isn't it? When people ask me if I'm going to get married and have kids someday, all humans are idiots and human children are even worse. So true.
That they are.
1998 to 2004. Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Sorry. 1998 to 2004, American animation really had something going on then. Just stopped for some reason. It's very anime looking.
True.
No, I think it's just like, yeah.
They are very pretty movies.
Yeah.
And the last one is, I'm going to bring this back down here and see if that makes it, because I don't need to see Thaylien.
Don't need to see me.
If your anime
nope, doesn't work.
Is underage, you're a sick creep and should be locked up.
It's true. It's true. Oh my god. God. Wow.
Okay.
Incredible.
Fuck.
Wow. That is a long
Wow.
That's a lot to take in.
And
just gonna point out,
and then he kind of lost me in the second part.
I feel the word based has been overused in the past few years, but that's pretty based.
I'm just going to say none of my waifus were on that list, so.
Well done.
Right.
Go on, Nasuth.
I don't know why it keeps doing this, even though it's set to be on top. So
you want to fix that first? Let's fix that.
I don't know if I can.
Well, let me see if can I control it, right? Because I don't know
if you can control it. Yeah.
Hold on. I'm trying to put the viewer meme one back on. No, I can't control it from here. Like,
Crazy.
Can you put that on the other monitor or something?
It was on the other monitor earlier and it didn't help. Because over there is full
sure,
screen. I'll try again, but anyway. Nope.
Just keeps on disappearing.
Just disappears entirely. Good old deck board updates. Anyway, I'll struggle through somehow. Anyway, so Gainax, and Kara, look at me. I am the Gainax now. Because Kara bought all the Gainax. Yeah. Anyway.
No, they didn't buy it. They, I think they just inherited it, sort of thing.
Either way,
all ownership was transferred across before they collapsed.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
So number 2. Life is pain, death comes to us all. Oh my god, Shikinuka, hi!
Yep. that is taking over, I think, next season.
Oh boy.
Yep.
Me watching Made in Abyss, me recommending Made in Abyss.
Not wrong.
Not wrong.
Not wrong.
Number 4, guys, it's time to dinner.
Oh god. Oh fuck. Yep.
I mean, she is a monster. Would you?
Oh my god. Next.
So my last 2 are video memes.
Barusu, I'm going to use my clairvoyance. Give me a moment, all right?
Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it.
Yeah, I saw that coming.
Oh, it's similar to loop. Okay. Oh gosh, I forgot. I
Hey, next one.
Way. Next one.
Damn it. Got it first.
Yeah. Yeah.
Classic.
Both Thaylien and I wanted to use that one as well, but Nasuth got there first, the bastard.
I've got
Right.
5 video memes, including this one.
Oh my gosh, do you ever? Spoilers though, man. Spoilers.
Oh my fucking god. Oh my fucking...
Rudy, all about that sniffing people. Alright, number 2.
Cop,
Oh,
are
this
you
one!
high? Me, hello, am I what? Cop, hi. Me, hello.
Good evening.
Okay. Lol.
And the last 4 are, as Thaylien said, video memes.
This college student uploaded a photo of Raiden Shogun in a campus beauty
Lol.
contest and instantly won first place. This upset the girls at the school, who complained that their photos couldn't compete with an animated character. They collectively reported the Raiden Shogun. Under pressure, the organizers disqualified the submission. This action infuriated the male students, who then began uploading photos of their favorite animated characters. Each of these photos quickly amassed votes, dominating the top 10 spots on the leaderboard. Many girls were deeply offended and began attacking and insulting the male students. In response, the contest implemented a new rule banning the uploading of animated character photos. However, the leaderboard was promptly taken over by a group of cross-dressing male students.
Oh my god. Oh
Yes!
my god.
Man!
Quality, bitch.
Yeah.
Quality, bitch.
Right.
This is all wrong. You can't be this strong. Nothing about this makes sense.
Well, if that's racking a brain, try drinking this in.
Is this Fortnite?
I think it is.
DBZ in Fortnite, yes. You can make
I think it is.
Vegeta do Fortnite dances.
Oh my god.
Oh.
There's an old saying. Gotta catch 'em all. That means every Pokemon. Including you, Fido.
Okie dokie.
I don't know if I've seen that before. That's amazing.
And Thaylien's last one.
Seen this before. This is good.
Fern has entered the chat.
Oh no, it's not on loop. Okay.
No, it's not. Yeah.
Cute. All right, so
Cool.
Xeno's first meme is spicy, apparently. So if you're watching this at work or at school or with your parents in the room,
you've had your notification.
Make sure you call everyone around to have a look at it. 'Cause here we go.
What was this one?
I don't know.
Oh, they seem to really love girls, especially girls over 30. Correct, madam.
Oh, Kakyoin. Oh, base Kakyoin.
Yep. Number 2. Gainax, Trigger.
Yes.
Gainax filing for bankruptcy and shutting down. Number 3.
I have to go next now.
My Riz level in front of the person I'm crushing on. My Riz level in front of people I have zero interest in.
Spoilers!
You're a spoiler. Right?
Go. Do a crime.
Ah. I swear I've seen this one before. I don't care, though.
Yep. Next.
System. Activate body armor.
Activating body armor after these messages.
Huh?
Oh no.
Messages.
What are you doing, Steph?
Oh no.
Oh God, skip! He's gonna kill me.
You won't last 30 seconds playing this dating sim.
And if I get one more porn out, I'm gonna kill myself.
Are you feeling down? BetterHelp will pair you with a licensed therapist who got their certification from Walmart.
Oh no.
Will you stop with these ads so I can finish this dungeon raid?
Did you say raid?
Shadow Legend. Available now. Skip. God.
Would you like to purchase the premium subscription to bypass all ads?
I'd rather die.
Oddly enough, I tried to find, but unfortunately this is re-uploaded from someone else, so I have no idea where the actual full video is.
I think
Yeah. And then
That might be the joke. That might actually be the joke, though.
And then the piece de resistance. Oh, to be fair, the piece de resistance.
Nah. Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Yep.
Well, it's all about killing demons. I think you'd love it.
Makes sense.
Well, let's get the cool. Right. So yeah, that's it for this week's episode. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming. Sticking around, enjoying. Tell us your takes on what makes a banger of a first episode. And I mean,
What episodes
certainly I
failed
discovered
to stand up to the potential that they created.
Yeah, certainly I've discovered that, as weird, I didn't realize I didn't hate cliffhangers at all. I was like, oh yeah, this makes a lot of sense. So yeah, that's it for this week's episode. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming. And now it's time to bottoms up and Kanpai. Well, I'm finished my drink.